Hello, I'm Neil Whelan and welcome to the Wesleyan Podcast. In this episode, brought to you by Wesleyan Financial Services, Monica Pacult and Oonagh Morrison, Regional Manager for our Education segment, talk about why the summer break is a great opportunity for teachers to take some time to think about their finances. Obviously, any time is a good time to think about your finances, but with the summer break finally here, it makes sense to use this spare time to see a specialist financial advisor. As always, this podcast is for information only and doesn't constitute financial advice. But if you do need to talk to someone about your finances, I'll be back later to tell you how to get in touch with us. But for now, I'll hand you over to Oonagh. And first up, Monica.
Today, we've got Regional Manager Oonagh Morrison from Wesleyan Financial Services joining us again. Hi, Oonagh, and welcome. It's great to have you back again. Thanks for joining us today.
Not a problem, Monica. Always happy to come in and have a chat.
Oh, thank you. So today we're considering if the summer break is a good time for teachers to focus on their financial planning. So obviously most teachers have a 6-week break. You know, this may vary to some degree depending on where they work, but it is essentially the longest stretch of time away from work. Do you think, Oonagh, that this break lends itself to financial planning opportunities?
It certainly does. Working with teachers as we do, we know the pressures of the profession, the hours that you work, and therefore it is quite hard to find time to do what we would call life admin, looking at your bills, looking at your financial planning, looking at things in general. So the teachers' availability over the summer, as you say, is greater than it would be at other times of the year. Other than, of course, the first couple of weeks where we understand that teachers need to get away on their holiday, decompress, catch up with family. But once that's done, there's a settling time where they can take advantage of a bit more spare time to scoop up the things that they don't have the time to do over normal working weeks and term time. So we do find that the first couple of weeks of the summer would be quiet. But certainly after that, then we have more people turning their minds and their interests to the things that, as I say, just simply don't get done during term time. And we fully understand that. So we find that it is an opportune time for clients to come to us undistracted, with clear minds, and think, right, where am I going? What am I looking at? Looking at retirement, looking at life cover, income protection cover, setting up a regular savings plan. Summer seems to be the time to do it.
Thanks, Oonagh. No, that's actually, I think you've answered my next question, which would be, what would be more convenient about it?
It's that availability, isn't it? If we have a time slot with a specialist financial advisor at 12 o'clock on a Tuesday, the average classroom teacher or senior leader is simply not going to be able to make that. They could be in class, they could be in a meeting, or they could be simply eating their lunch, which is obviously very important as well. Whereas if we have daytime availability in the summer, our average teaching client has a lot more capacity to take that slot and use it well. What that does in turn then is it leaves their evenings free. So evenings in the summer can then be spent relaxing, spending time with your family, going out for a meal, all the nice things of life that we like to do.
No, that makes perfect sense. And from a financial planning perspective, what are the sorts of things that a teacher might want to address when, if they're having a summer sort out of their finances, let's say?
I mean, it could start from the very, very basics, looking at your bills, making sure you've got the right deal on your home insurance, your Sky bill, your mobile phone bill, all those things that can slip away from you again during term time. I mean, for example, I spent the last weekend sorting out my phone bill because I had the time to do it. I managed to save some money. So there's the simple basics of life like that, where if you've undistracted and you've got the time, you can save some money. Then we can look to the more complex side of things, which is your future retirement planning, investment planning, or even things like, do I have an emergency fund set up? Am I going to be okay if anything happens to my health, my family, my partner? How would I get myself out of trouble if I find myself in a particular situation? So you start at the basics, which is your essential expenditure, get that nailed down, move on to moderate term financial planning, emergency fund setup, next holiday that you're going to go on, next car change that you want to facilitate, do I have the funds for that? And then we move up into the future planning, retirement planning. What is my retirement going to look like? How much money will I need? And underpinning all of that, of course, as I say, is things like, do I have enough protection set up? Would my family be okay if I wasn't here? Would I be okay if I could not work due to ill health? So what we do in our financial planning meetings is we pull all of that together. We start at the very basics and we work right up to the end game. And, as we say, that summer is a great time to have the headspace and the actual physical time to sit down and do that correctly.
Thanks, Oonagh. That's great. Do you have any further useful tips or hints for teachers to make a start over the summer with their financial planning? I'm guessing in terms of sort of priorities, what would you say?
Yeah, something that we're coming up against quite a lot at the moment, which really had not been such a prevalent problem for quite a long time when bank interest rates were a lot lower, is something called the personal savings allowance. So you earn bank interest, and there are limits set for basic rate taxpayers and higher rate taxpayers where you can receive up to a certain limit of bank interest and not pay any tax. And for quite a long time, with bank interest being low and inflation being low as well, a lot of our clients didn't skirt over that line. However, in recent years, cost of living's gone up, inflation's increased, and bank rates have followed through with that. So now what we're finding, even people who don't feel themselves that they're wealthy per se, that they are breaching these lines and breaching these allowances. So if you have received of late a notification from your bank or even HMRC that says you need to pay tax on your bank interest, it means that the rates have shifted to a point where the inland revenue are interested and may take a slice of what you've earned on your hard-earned money. So that type of planning, again, is something we factor in as and when required, but we are noticing currently that a lot more people are coming to us with that intent. How do I stop paying as much tax as I need to, or I currently need to, on my savings? And the bars are set relatively low. For a basic rate taxpayer, it's £1,000 per year. For a higher rate taxpayer, it's £500 per year. So if you've been diligent with your savings and you're receiving even moderate rates of interest, you can hit both of those bars quite easily. But by taking some specialist financial advice or looking deeper into the stuff that you're using to house your money, then we can use ISAs, pensions, and other tax vehicles to make sure that the taxman doesn't take more of your hard-earned interest than they really need to.
Oonagh, thank you. That's really, really useful. Thank you very much for coming on. Unfortunately, we've run out of time for today, but I hope to get you back on the podcast again soon.
Well, as I say, always welcome to come and have a chat, not a problem.
And that's our show for this week. Thank you to Monica and Oonagh. If you are looking for expert financial advice, go to wesleyan.co.uk, where you can book an appointment with one of our specialist financial advisors. Charges may apply, but we won't charge you until you've agreed the services you require and the associated costs. Find out more at wesleyan.co.uk/charges. To learn about Wesleyan more generally, you can find us on the website formerly known as Twitter, as well as over on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. And if you found this podcast useful, you can like and subscribe to us on all the usual platforms, as well as find us on YouTube, where there's a whole library of videos covering a wide range of financial planning topics. But that's it for now. So until next time, thanks for listening.